Hi everybody! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me, and thanks to everyone that watched the last two videos. I'm so grateful for my community, for people joining me. Thank you to those who see value in what I'm sharing. It honestly means so much to me. So if this is the third video that you're watching, you're my family, you're my tribe, you're my community. I'm so grateful for you. Today's video is all about awareness. But before we jump into it, like all my videos, I want to share with you my beautiful earrings for the episode. I don't know if you can see them. How cute are they? They're beautiful. Now, they're from a very beautiful store in Brisbane, Australia. It's called Thousand Island Dressing. I think it's also a salad dressing for those who eat salad. I don't eat salad, so. But it is called Thousand Island Dressing, and they're beautiful, and I love them, and they actually go so well with my sweater. So let's get straight into it. Today's video is about this idea of awareness, and the reason for the video actually is there's just been a lot of instances and examples in the last couple of weeks that have sparked a little bit of inspiration in my thoughts around, as leaders, I think there's something to be said about combining our authentic confidence being our skill, our knowledge, our education, our values, like tangible confidence, our persona, and combining that with this concept of awareness, the space between our thoughts, the space around an experience. The word that's coming to me is space. And I felt like I really needed to remind people and kind of share what my thoughts are around awareness and how it's related to leadership. Now, in all my upcoming videos, I'm kind of creating a bit of a new structure. So I want to include some sort of quote or theory from someone that I'm highly inspired by, or someone whose work that I follow. And today, the quote that I want to leave my viewers with is a quote by the incredible poet Rumi. And Rumi says, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." And I just want everyone to sit with that quote for a second. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. And I think when I think about that quote and how it relates to awareness, I've said this in a couple of other videos. I think at the moment our world is very polarized. There's right and there's wrong. There's yes and there's no. There's there's structure, there's routine. And awareness disregards all of the structure out there. We can plan everything as leaders, yet with awareness comes the groundedness, the anchoring in just acceptance of a situation. And awareness doesn't care about knowledge or experience or credentials. It's the space that we hold for ourselves and for others. And this quote by Rumi reminds me of the beauty of not needing a right or wrong, not needing an answer to everything. And I know as leaders, we are so focused and action driven and results focused, and we want to make sure that everyone's voices are being heard and we're being direct and we're making decisions, and it's all like blah, blah, blah. And that is awesome. And having it paired with awareness, I think will just illuminate, will create more more depth to our positions as leaders. And so this came, I guess, one of the examples, I want to give you a couple of examples, like tangible examples, as to how this awareness has really played out in some positive ways and negative ways. I'll do the classic like positive sandwich. We'll start with a positive and then we'll go with a bit of a constructive negative and then we'll finish with a positive. So a great example of awareness is at the moment I'm training a teacher. We're doing it virtually. So she films her dance classes. And then I watch them and then I'll give her feedback. So she's wanting to upskill in the world of inclusive and accessible dance, and I'm her trainer. And this teacher did something really beautiful that's a skill that you can't teach. One of the students in the class, there was a lot of rain outside, and they kind of got a little bit nervous and scared about the sound that the rain was making on the roof, and he kind of needed to take himself off to the side for a second. And obviously this teacher needed to make sure that the rest of the class were engaged, so she couldn't really give the student the attention in that moment that they needed. There wasn't a volunteer or a support worker. And eventually the student rejoined the group and they continued the class. But what was really beautiful about what this teacher did is that at the end of the class, during the meditation, all of our classes finished with a meditation, all the students were lying down and she was guiding them through this meditation. And she could have just sat at the front, in front of the class and guided everyone through this meditation. But what she did instead was she went over to the student and sat with him and proceeded to guide the rest of the class. But she sat really close to this student and she put her hand on his belly and she just was present with him. Now that is something, that awareness, I would say that was awareness. Like she has the awareness of the fact that this student isn't feeling, too great. They've been scared by the rain. And she could have simply just sat and led everybody, but she had the awareness of, I think this student needs a little bit more from me. And she disregarded the rational side. She disregarded like the teacher side of like, oh, but what if it's distracting to other students? Or what if other students, felt like they're being left out? Or what if and it just went to the heart connection between her and that student. And that awareness as a teacher is really hard to teach. It's something that you feel. So that's one example. Another constructive example is that I have a friend that does that participates in these online co-working spaces. There's a lot of them out there, and it was her first time joining. And she got on the call and there was no welcome for her. She just joined the space, and in the chat they were watching something, like as a group they were watching something on like the screen, so for those of you who don't understand, like co-working spaces, it's where everyone comes and works simultaneously on individual projects. And so obviously as a result of COVID, everyone is co-working virtually. And so you imagine it's the first time you're coming there, just like if you were to walk into a co-working space in the physical form and no one approaches you, no one introduces themselves, no one welcomes you into the space. And there's kind of like a whiteboard and you're told like, this is what we're doing, just join in. And the person that I'm referring to felt a little bit lost. They felt like they weren't really valued. Now, as the leader of an organization, it's my duty to know who's new at a space. It's my duty to know who's never been to the space. There's a duty to welcome everybody, to make everyone feel included and welcome. And that, yes, it takes structure. Like, yes, you can put that into your structure, but I'm assuming that the leader of this virtual co-working space had a structure. There was a structure there. They knew what they were doing. And this person joined at a time when they were in the middle of doing something. But what awareness could look like is stopping your structure and welcoming someone into the space. It looks like thinking about that person that's joining a new environment for the first time and putting themselves in those shoes and thinking about what would a welcome, regardless of what time they come in, what would a welcome look like to this participant? How can I have the space between me trying to facilitate a class and being really structured and focused and I'm sure they were trying to be the leader that they needed to be in that moment, but there was lacking of this awareness of a new participant. So that's another example, probably more constructive. And then the final one's a bit more of a personal one. I'm conscious, like, this has to do with my personal relationship, my romantic relationship. Once again, for me, life is holistic. So as I explore things in my personal romantic relationship, it shows up in my leadership, it shows up in my communication, it shows up in my finances. My mindset is holistic. And so at the moment, as a result of COVID, my partner and I are spending a lot of time together. We are, there's not a lot of external stimulus and expectations and events to go to. And so we kind of feel like we're in a little bit of a pressure cooker. And so sometimes, sides of our personality that we're not too proud of come out. And there's a part of me that has the awareness that we don't need to try and solve all of our relationship challenges in this time in our lives, because COVID is adding such an extra pressure that we don't even realize is happening. And so as it relates to awareness, I'm kind of just holding the space for mistakes to happen, for things to not go necessarily to plan, to not force a conversation that doesn't need to happen. And I think if I didn't have that awareness that we don't need to solve every challenge or every problem right now, I probably would be putting more pressure on my relationship. It's not to say that I'm disregarding things that are bothering me, but I also am able to give space to my thoughts and be like, actually, this is, it's not a great time. There are so many other factors, financial factors, networking factors. I can't go home at the moment. So I'm obviously, I'm having extra pressure from outside sources that are impacting my mindset and my mood. So awareness looks like giving myself the space to be like, shit's going to happen right now. It's not going to feel great, and that's okay. So I guess moving into what these experiences taught me, or where my mind goes to when I hear these examples or I see them, is, I've said it before, there's the thing, and then there's the space around the thing. There's the awareness of the thing. It's almost like separating yourself from what's happening. And we can have all of the education and the knowledge, and we've done all the work, but there's a level of stillness and there's a level of acceptance that I think sets those people apart who, how do I say this? Who are able to be the acceptance and the awareness for other people. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I guess it's something that you can't teach. And one of the things that supports my constant exploration of awareness is my mindfulness practice. That looks like meditation, it looks like journaling, it looks like walking without a podcast, it looks like movement and getting really into my body, it looks like and keeping routine and consistency with these actions. So meditation is something that I do every day. I do 20 minutes in the morning and I do 10 minutes in the afternoon, but I'm consistent and I'm rigorous with it because I understand that I need to keep that consistency up so that I experience the benefits of constantly bringing space and stillness into my life. And through connecting with myself on such a deep, still, personal level, I feel like I'm able to give that to other people. And that's what awareness is. Self-awareness, when you feel it and when you embrace it, you give it to others. If we do not have self-awareness, we can't possibly provide the space, the safety, the security for others to do the same. So I guess I would really encourage you to find moments of stillness within your day. It can be as small as 5 minutes, but it must be consistent. And I guess to finish, I think this relates to leadership on such a deep level, because as leaders, we need to model the type of behavior that we would love our teams to show. And I think we can have, as leaders, we can have everything planned out. We can have all the structure. We can know what our goals are. We can have the risk management. We can be confident in our values. We can have direct conversations. We can make decisions. But when we add in that piece of awareness, the space around the thing, I think it just deepens our influence. It empowers and inspires others to also hold space for one another. And I think that skill as a leader is absolutely invaluable. So my advice, find moments of stillness. What does awareness mean to you? Read. Just type in awareness on Google. See what comes up. See what sparks your interest. When you're in a situation, maybe you're, whatever you're doing in your life. So maybe if you're at university, or you're teaching online, or you're in a Zoom meeting, or you're at a conversation with a friend, see if you can separate yourself from the conversation just for a second. And I'm not saying not be present, but I'm saying, can you detach from the thing? Can you attach from your involvement, your attachment to your perspective, your opinion? Can you kind of like look outside and get a broader, wider view of what's happening? Can you think of somebody else? Can you have compassion and empathy? Can you try and relinquish the structure, the rigorousness, the risk, the routine, and just see what happens? I have a feeling that with this combination of authentic confidence and awareness, I think we can really develop our leadership from a place of trueness, of awareness, of depth, of stillness, of acceptance. Thank you for watching. I'd love to know what you thought of this video. Please subscribe, shameless plug, share it, comment, get in my DMs, hit me up, let me know what you think. And we'll be back with another video very soon. Remember, awareness and authentic confidence. Happy leading, guys. See you next time.